Between the Americas, a narrow isthmus, land of mystery in the past and misunderstanding today. Poverty, political unrest, and underdevelopment are among the things that come to mind when the subject of Central America is mentioned. But few people understand the Central America of today and therefore do not appreciate the treasures it holds. One Central American country that has remained particularly unknown is the nation of Honduras, a country the size of Pennsylvania, bounded on one side by the tropical Caribbean and on the other by the vast Pacific. Honduras is a land of contrasts and surprises. Yes, you will find poverty and underdevelopment in Honduras, but poverty here doesn't have a social stigma. And underdevelopment simply means that this unexploited country marches to the beat of a more relaxed drummer. Modern technology has only recently set up residence here. Transportation in many areas is still in the crawling stage, but it is technology that contributes greatly to the hectic lifestyle in more modern countries. There are exceptions to this leisurely pace in Honduras. Her cities are vibrant and alive. They are accessible by modern highways and airports. But it is this paradox of the old ways mixed with the new that make it a place of great interest. Here, change is in the air. Parts of the country have been catapulted into the 20th century, while other parts remain virtually as primitive and undeveloped as during the Spanish occupation. Though Banana Republic is no longer an appropriate name for Honduras, the business of bananas is still important. Because agriculture continues as the central facet of Honduran economy, business and government have not allowed methods to remain primitive. And canning plant represents a large investment. It is modern and its workers are trained. They help to satisfy the ponderous North American appetite for whole bananas, canned bananas, and banana puree. Honduras is fortunate. It has a great deal of fertile land within a tropical climate, but it also possesses, along its Caribbean coast, a large tract of densely forested land known as La Mesquitia. That name and our name mosquito have a common origin, an indication of the swampy conditions found there. Nevertheless, the government has opened La Mesquitia for development. Soon, rice and other food products will come from that formerly useless land. And seeking export profits, the country will begin harvesting from La Mesquitia a generous supply of lumber and pulpwood. Over 100 revolutions in the past have made the political climate of Honduras uncertain. But it is now among the most stable of the republics in Central America. That stability is the result of the present government helping with progressive programs, incentives, and reforms. The seat of that government is this revered palace situated in the mountain-surrounded city of Tegucigalpa. It was the presidential palace in colonial days. Now, it houses government offices and is used for affairs of state. While some Central American governments are noted for their severity toward prisoners, the Honduran penal system is, in some ways, more progressive than North American systems. This modern women's prison emphasizes rehabilitation. These inmates and their children are provided with excellent health care. They enjoy humanizing recreation. And pursue useful employment.
Ya que es el ser más querido en toda su vida, ¿verdad?
If a woman makes the best of her classroom time while in prison, she may take with her a skill so that she need never turn to crime again. To further improve conditions, the government has taken dramatic steps in the last decade to improve the nation's literacy level. As with all Central American countries, this has been a serious problem. In Honduras, schooling is free and compulsory for all children 7 to 15. 7 colleges provide opportunities for further education. In areas of more aesthetic endeavor, Honduran artists are sculpting and painting a small renaissance, reviving the glory of their past. In Villa de Angeles, artists seek to interpret ancient Mayan Indian traditions in the art of today. The village has become a kind of art colony, presenting unique types of art to the rest of the world. The remarkable brightness and energy of this art and these people originates from 2 very different cultures on 2 separate continents. The Spanish, those who discovered the land, brought an inheritance from European culture. Christopher Columbus ushered in the days of Spanish control when he landed here on his last voyage to the New World. He was soon followed by the conquistadors and missionaries. They left a legacy that is still evident in the architecture and religion of Honduras. The Mayans gave the land an inheritance of a strange and beautifully written history that is even now being carefully retold by archaeologists. They built civilizations that rivaled the antiquity of Greece. The Mayan cities in 800 AD matched the power and prosperity of any city in Europe or Asia. Of ruins was once Copan, the city where priests and scientists reached the zenith of Mayan astronomical art. The Mayans developed a calendar capable of accurately computing dates millions of years in the future and past. They accurately predicted eclipses of the sun and moon. The placement of these stones was significant to Mayan agriculture. They were so situated that at the beginning and the end of each growing season, an aura of refracted sunlight resembling a rainbow would appear around the sun. Copan also appears to have been a sports center. As many as 10,000 enthusiasts packed into this ball court to watch a game that was probably a cross between basketball and football, with forms of wrestling thrown in. Yet the existence of this vibrant civilization was not even guessed when the Spanish landed their ships. This was one of the earliest surprises of Honduras. The once powerful Spanish Empire exists no more. The Mayan Empire vanished as quickly as the jungle grew to obscure its cities. As human history has blended the survivors of these past civilizations, a proud and attractive new race has emerged, the mestizos. Spanish and Indian blood, the past lives on through them. Yet another race has come to reap what it can from this soil. Out of the rich farmland of Indiana comes this group of Mennonites. A testament to the friendliness of the Honduran people, this group has found no friction here. The Mennonites came to embrace a religious freedom the American Constitution could not guarantee. This young man remembers a problem with the environment in the United States.
It wasn't hard for me to live because I was anxious for adventure. I wanted to travel. I was really, get down here. There's natural things that we miss from the States because there's why would you say it's easier to make a living in the United States than it is here. So we were settled once the way we're settled now, we can make it, we'll get along real good.
Freedom from the noise of the jet and the freeway, freedom from government regulations, all very religious matters for the Mennonites. Rejected America. Many have retained citizenship, but they are looking for innocence. And here they are flourishing anew in the kind of frontier their counterparts sought centuries ago in North America. It is a surprising paradox that here in Honduras, only a short jet flight from the U.S., such a frontier exists. Honduras can also accommodate those more accustomed to the idea of rapid travel. This modern highway makes the inland accessible and carries many kinds of freight, some moving fast, some moving not so fast. A short tour through the inland will demonstrate there are many rewards for those who will make the journey from the Caribbean to the interior mountains of Honduras. This series of cascades is named Pulhapensac, the ancient site of holy temples. The unusual topography creates a number of different kinds of waterfalls. Recently opened as a tourist attraction, this lush and beautiful spot remains unspoiled. This roadside park is maintained by the government. Travelers will be greeted by an open welcome anywhere in Honduras. The people are happy to share the natural beauty of their land.
Get a side bet going here.
Yeah, we're going to get a side bet going now.
Why is this big Louisiana man laughing? Probably because this morning he caught the biggest bass of his life. That's right, bass, the prize game fish of North America, imported when the United Fruit Company built a dam enlarging Lake Yahoa. After 20 years of adapting, those bass are now plentiful and big enough for anybody. Scuba divers claim they've seen bass in the 30-pound category, and experts predict the next world's record may come from the waters of Lake Yahoa. Those big fish have brought to Honduras Arkansas accents, Florida cigars, and Texas-sized fish stories.
Bill, did you come after a big one again this time?
Come after a big one every trip. I always come after big one.
Now, in case you folks didn't know it, Bill here holds the record for a day's catch in the lake and a number of fish. He came in one day with 7 fish and 72 pounds. Those are bass.
Large bass.
The smallest one was just over 8 pounds.
But somebody's going to catch big fish, and I have a feeling it's going to be me.
Nothing like
It's nothing like
Confidence.
I made the statement to FDL Trust it was down that if I didn't catch a big fish, I think the trip was worthwhile. Just to see the country. This is my first time down here. Just completely different.
The climate's ideal.
Beautiful time of
It's
day.
cool at night, it's warm during the day.
The lake is the prettiest place you ever see.
I've never seen water this clear, truly. I really haven't, like this deep. I mean, you can just see to the bottom. It's wonderful.
And your host here, they can't do enough for you. They just bend over backwards to please you. Your guides, they're good guides. They'll put you on fish, and they'll even help you catch the fish.
Yep. It's true.
This is true. For sure.
This beach at Tela is the site of the country's most concerted effort to attract tourists. With cabins like this, Tela will remain the warm kind of paradise that has drawn and tantalized Americans since Melville. There are other beaches in the tropics, but in places where fast food outlets elbow tightly against well-known American hotel chains, it's hard for the suburban beach bum to enjoy his fantasies about living on coconuts. There will be large hotels here at Tela, but there will also be plenty of the genuine paradise from which dreams are made. The country is growing economically with large investments from government and business. The people's lives are changing as they live near increasingly evident signs of export and commerce. It is fortunate, though, that the natural conservatism of Honduras will keep the changes coming gradually. Honduras has decidedly joined the 20th century. In these surroundings, it's difficult to know whether the natural beauty of Honduras surpasses its more worldly beauty. This is the capital city of Tegucigalpa. Here, showing its elegance, its flair for the cosmopolitan. It is It's located in the cool, mountainous inland serviced by air and highway transportation. Tegucigalpa dons the touches of elegance and sophistication requisite in any capital city. Restaurant was built by a Spaniard who left the old world to find and exercise his fortune in the new. History nicely repeats itself. The delicious taste of the food complements the decor, and the visiting American may congratulate himself on choosing a restaurant that is, aside from all else, very easy on the traveler's checks. Honduras has abundant resources with which to develop. Her human resources, people alive with a natural friendliness and honesty refreshing in an age of cool sophistication. They are strong yet versatile, the products of different heritages and backgrounds. And her earth resources, land that is wide open with rich soil, abundant mineral deposits, and hardwood forests, all awaiting development. Within her borders, she displays almost every kind of terrain, from low coastal bogs to tall mountain ranges, and she is washed on either shore by the currents and commerce of two oceans. With roots in the ancient Mayans, Honduras has a long and rich history, but she joins the 20th century as a young country, just being discovered. And with every discovery, a new facet appears to demonstrate the uniqueness of Honduras, a Central American nation that is healthy, complex, and growing, full of the vital, the unexpected, the many surprises of Honduras. Land of mystery in the past and misunderstanding today. Poverty, political unrest, and underdevelopment are among the things that come to mind when the subject of Central America is mentioned. But few people understand the Central America of today and therefore do not appreciate the treasures it holds. One Central American country that has remained particularly unknown is the nation of Honduras, a country the size of Pennsylvania, bounded on one side by the tropical Caribbean and on the other by the vast Pacific. Honduras is a land of contrasts and surprises. Yes, you will find poverty and underdevelopment in Honduras, but poverty here doesn't have a social stigma, and underdevelopment simply means that this unexploited country marches to the beat of a more relaxed drummer. Modern technology has only recently set up residence here. Transportation in many areas is still in the crawling stage, but it is technology that contributes greatly to the hectic lifestyle in more modern countries. There are exceptions to this leisurely pace in Honduras. Her cities are vibrant and alive. They are accessible by modern highways and airports. But it is this paradox of the old ways mixed with the new that make it a place of great interest. Here, change is in the air. Parts of the country have been catapulted into the 20th century, while other parts remain virtually as primitive and undeveloped as during the Spanish occupation. Though Banana Republic is no longer an appropriate name for Honduras, the business of bananas is still important. Agriculture continues as the central facet of Honduran economy. Business and government have not allowed methods to remain primitive. And canning plant represents a large investment. It is modern and its workers are trained. They help to satisfy the ponderous North American appetite for whole bananas, canned bananas, and banana puree. Honduras is fortunate. It has a great deal of fertile land within a tropical climate, but it also possesses, along its Caribbean coast, a large tract of densely forested land known as La Mesquitia. That name and our name, mosquito, have a common origin, an indication